Hey guys, it's William here, and I want to talk about using pink noise as a master source for mixing the songs, because there is a lot of internet sites where they talk about pink noise, and I have downloaded a lot of pink noise files to test, and they don't match with music, to be honest. So I was taking a look at some programs, especially Voxengo SPAN, and things didn't really match. So I was trying to understand what changed. And to be honest, if I go back to 80s music, 90s music, and more contemporary music, things don't change that much. I was talking with, let me see, Alexei Vanev. I hope I'm saying the name correctly, from Voxengo. What made him decide to use, let me go back here to my program, to use a slope of 4.5 instead of 3, which most programs that are tested, actually all the programs that are tested uses 3. Only Voxengo SPAN is using something different, which is 4.5. And he told me that he checked a lot of music to see what fitted better in terms of slope values. And he came with 4.5. So I was taking a look at some music, and it does match that. So I don't know why most spectrum analyzers, when you select slope, it use 3.0 slope instead. Because when you check music, even 80s music and 90s music, they all match our 4.5 slope instead of 3.0 slope. So that got me confused very quickly, and I did a lot of research on the past couple of days to understand what's going on. So on this part of the video, I'm going to show a few songs and pink noise, white noise, and my own solution for the problem, and then later I'm going to show how to use the Voxengo SPAN to really match some songs in terms of equalizing and stuff like that. A lot of people use the term, it's track, I forgot the name now, but when you pick a track and you want your equalization to be close to that track, if not the same, totally ran out of my mind here, the name, so sorry for that. So let's take a look here. I have my noise generator for Melda production. And right now let's put on white noise. If you put on white noise, you can see that white noise is terrible for mixing, because it has a very high ramp, and as far as I know, no one's used white noise. And a lot of sites talk about pink noise. And everything pink noise I found was like this here on the spectrometer below. It was very flat when you select the slope. Otherwise, it goes like this, a ramp from up to down. Because pink noise is what they say is what your ears here in terms of a rollover of decibels per frequency values. So I'm going to leave some links in the description if you want to know more about pink noise. And all I can understand is that a lot of people mix using the pink noise as a reference. But from what I discovered, pink noise mixing is not the best solution, because we will end up with less bass and a lot of highs. And if I go here on the Voxengo SPAN, this is the free version. If I click edit and edit the smoothing and the slope actually to 3, we get a very flat line with the pink noise. But if I go back to 4.5, and equalize my noise here, now I got a flat line in here 2, which is easier to see and mix to. And I'm going to include this pink noise equalized in my description, so I'm not going to call pink noise because it's almost a brown noise. But a brown noise, from what I tested, it's still not perfectly flat. You can see on the spectrometer of the Studio One that you already have an extra slope here showing up because it's expecting a 3 decibels rollover. And right now we have a 4.5 decibel rollover. But let's turn off the noise generator. Let's turn off this guy here and leave just the Voxengo SPAN. I'm clicking on the wrong place. Let me make this larger. And I have a series of songs in here that I can test. The first one is Boom Boom Tap by Prodigy, which is a very deep bass track on my sound system, especially on my car. And you can see that it has a lot of highs, but when I listen to it, it has much more bass than anything else. It's the only track that shows with more highs than bass on a SPAN. And really haven't tested why is that. I can't show the music, play the music because of copyright, but you get the idea. Now, it's closing. I don't want to use Plus right now because I want to use the free version for now. So here's the free version. I was going to close every time. That's not very helpful. Oh, here, I have to click this. Okay, never mind. Okay, now it's working. So this is Paper Planes by Maya. I think it's Maya, the right name to say. And now you can see that we have a more balanced sound in here. And of course, we don't have to take this in a linear way or literal way. Because sometimes you want to bass to sound more than everything else. You just have to understand that depending on who's going to listen, is going to totally destroy the audio. Because maybe the equalizer is already adding a lot of bass, so that's why we tend to mix in a flat way. So you can see that most songs will do that. Now it's Benny Benassi from Satisfaction. It's a very common song. Let me put in a more energetic area of the song. And you can see that it's very flat. And the vocals is showing a lot in here, on this area here, because that's how the song was mixed. Let me check. All Stars from... I forgot the name of the band. The Shrek song. And it's very flat. And you can see here the MP3, because all these are MP3s, the MP3 is really cutting all the high frequencies. So this is not a very good... quality MP3 that I have, but it's from my old collection of CDs, and I'm too lazy to burn the CDs, to rip the CDs again. And you can see that it's very flat. And all this is using 4.5 rollover, so I really don't understand why everybody else is using a 3.0 rollover, because it doesn't make any sense, unless older, very older songs, maybe 70 songs used it, I don't know. I tried to find information about it, but I couldn't find. This is Alphaville Big in Japan. It's a very famous 80s song, and it's also very curvy when it comes to the highs and the lows. And in the mid area, you can hear the vocals showing up. Another Brick in the Wall from Pink Floyd. This has a bit less bass, but that's okay. Now it has the bass is appearing and stuff like that. I really don't remember which part of the song I'm playing because I can't hear here without making the record from the streaming and get copyright claims and stuff like that. The copyright claim is not a big problem. The problem is that I have like 30 songs here, so I'm going to get a lot of copyright claims, and I don't know if they're not going to mute what I'm explaining or trying to say. Another one bites the dust, and you can see that it's also very flat at 4.5 rollover. So I'm very impressed with this. So I'm glad I did this stats, because as I was using the pink noise as a reference for a long time, and now I can see that it's not very good idea. This is Babushka by Kate Bush, and it's also very flat at 4.5. Baby one more time. And again, also almost flat. In some parts, the deep end is not really showing up. Let me put more to the start of its song here. Let's see. Here. It's almost a perfect fit. Beds Are Burning by Midnight Oil. A lot of bass, but you can see that everything comes up and matches the bass, so it's also, because you're not going to want a perfect flat line in these slope settings all the time. That would be silly, you know that, but the idea is that nothing really pushes too much away from that, otherwise it's not going to sound good in every situation, in every kind of equipment. Believe by Cher, which also almost flat. Then Billie Jean by Michael Jackson, perfectly flat. And when I say perfect flat, you have to take in account all the sound that is happening. So it's almost like instead of real-time average, I use a max and see what sticks on the top and look at that. But that still is going to be silly, because there are times where I'm going to hit above and hit below. So the average is still the best way to check things out. And this is from a visual perspective. Some people are going to say, but why are you doing this from a visual perspective and not using your ears? Well, I'm 46, so my ears are kind of old right now. They're starting to lie to me sometimes. And I have abused my ears for a long time, especially in the 20s, on raves and whatnot. So I don't have a gold ear anymore. So I really need to rely on visuals to help me out. And there are other things that is happening in my mind that can change the way I hear music from one day to another. And it's hard to explain, but it happens. So this is Blue Monday. Blue Monday by New Order. Oh, my mind today is slow. But I'm getting there. I get things done. You can see that it's a perfect flat average. Blur, Girls and Boys, very famous songs from the 90s. And it's also very flat. Bring Me Edelweiss. A lot of people don't know Edelweiss, but it's a very fun album. Also very flat. Cantaloupe, Flip Fantasia. I forgot the name of the band. 3US, I don't remember. But it's also very flat. And some crap is happening here on the M3 area. MP3 is really messing up with the highs. But I don't really notice this when I'm listening, because I'm mostly listening with some power speakers or on the car. Respectable by Keenan someone else, I forgot the name. Sunday, You Need Love, Monday Be Alone, Trio. also almost flat. You can see that the vocal area is really much prominent compared to the bass and highs. The Escape Club, Wild Wild West, also very flat. Weird Science by Oingo Boingo, perfectly flat. Just the vocals are happening and showing more. This is the End of the War as We Know It by R.E.M. Mr. Roboto. Smack My Bitch Up by Prodigy. And here you can see that I have more bass, but that's normal for this kind of music. But a bit too much bass I would say, but I don't know. Because the highs and the lower highs are also matching up with that bass. Bon Jovi, Living on a Prayer. Very flat. You spin me around like a record, Dead or Alive. And funny that this particular song hits very hard on my stereo. And everything sounds compressed and mushed. Culture Beat by Mr. Vane by Culture Beat. Sorry. And this one has a very nice kick with a very nice bass. And you can see that it's almost flat too. Jimmy by Mia, or I don't know how to say Mia. M-I-I-A, Mia. And the Jimmy part is very on the mids. Then you have that very strong strings, Indian strings, but it's also very flat. Pacific 212 by 808 State. And this is very, very, very in line. Also, I'm using 4.5 decibel slope, so I'm not using a pink noise anymore. And this is by, I forgot the name of the girl, the bad guy, it's very famous, got an Emmy for it. Oh Lord, I forgot the name of her, sorry. And this is a bit different. These have a lot of low end. But it still matches up a little bit. So this one is a bit harder to analyze. Get Ugly is also a new track. And then The Cardigan by Taylor Swift, also a new track. And it's almost flat as well. The high end is very poor, but in this track it is supposed to be, so it all fits well. So, okay, we analyzed a lot of tracks, and you can see that we can rely on the 4.5 slope, and then we can start using the Span Plus instead, which is not free, but it's a very nice plugin. And the greatest thing about it is that, let's say I have a track here that I like the mix and I want to match. Oh, that's what's the name I was looking for. Match track, I think, matching track. Well, anyway, let's say I have Cutter Beat here. Let me put here on a part that is good. Here, there on the start. So I can go here on the static and take a snapshot of it. Let's say this is the portion of the song that I want to match. Now I just take my song and start playing on top of it. And I can adjust the level of the track I imported before to match my track volume, or the other way around. I can lower my track or raise my track volume, but it will depend on what kind of loudness the matching track has. So it's very hard to say. We have to test it out. But now I can see that the track I want to match has much more lower end comparing to my track. So I can just add some equalizers and start messing around with that. Or if let's say I want to match the vocals. So let me see here, a track that starts with vocals. Here, this one starts with vocals. So this is just vocals that it's playing. And I can also take a snapshot of that. And then I can use this as a reference to my track and see what I have to do to match that up. Or I can just go on my own way and do the way I want. But a lot of people works with a track as a guide. And a lot of producers does that. So it's really nice. And I'm going to try to do another video on this subject alone. And then when it comes to the slope and the rollover of the decibels, pink noise, and all of that jazz, I'm going to leave for this video in particular. And I hope this is clear. I just want to show several tracks to show how it looks on the audio analyzer, the visualizer, and to show how the noise shows up here on SPAN, in this case the free version. And then on the next video I'm going to use more the SPAN Plus, which is the paid version, which has some very nice options to match tracks and stuff like that. And if you want to check this noise that I created, which is perfectly flat and in line with all the songs that I have tested, I want to include that in the description. But keep in mind that depending on what you're doing, the mid area is going to curve down a bit, and your vocals are going to raise up from this level compared to everything else, depending on what you're doing. So just keep this in mind. This video is not really about mixing and mastering, it's just about what music has been using so far in terms of equalization and stuff like that. And why Voxengo decided to use a different slope compared to the other products that I have tested. And at first I was thinking that Voxengo was wrong and it should have used a 3 decibels rollover. But now I understand that the 4.5 decibel rollover is really, really great and matches much more all the songs that I've tested since the 80s. So I hope this video helps in that part, and that maybe understand a bit more about the pink noise and brown noise and stuff like that, because this is almost a perfect brown noise. So before anything else, no, that's it. That's pretty much it. So again, thanks for watching.